Last night, rocket sirens sounding in the southern Israeli town of Nahal Oz, right on the border with the Gaza Strip. One single rocket was fired and landed in open territory. A group calling itself the Gaza-based Lion's Den claiming responsibility for the launch. No casualties or damage reported there. Meanwhile, an Egyptian bid to de-escalate tensions to begin today. The head of Israel's internal security agency, the Shin Bet, and the head of the National Security Council will arrive in Sharm el-Sheikh for a summit with the Palestinian Authority. It comes as part of continued efforts to defuse the ongoing cycle of violence. The meeting is a follow-up to the Aqaba forum that convened in Jordan last month, with delegations from Jordan, Egypt, and even the United States. Let's bring in Dr. Jacques Neria, the former deputy head of assessment for Israeli military intelligence, joining us live in studio this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's first talk about the rocket fire emanating from the Gaza Strip yesterday. One single rocket fire, Israel not retaliating, not sending a response. Are they waiting for something larger, perhaps?
This is the second time that Israel does not respond to firing a missile from Gaza, and the reason is very clear. That we are at the eve of a meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh with the Palestinian Authority, with the Egyptians, with the Jordanians and the Americans. It's not the time to retaliate, and certainly not to create a situation where the Palestinians will say, we are not coming. I mean, if this is the behavior of Israel, we are not coming at this meeting, which is crucial right now in order, as you say, to de-escalate the tension between us and the ground in the West Bank. So, but on the other hand, you can just say that this is a signal sent by Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, saying we are here, and if things go wrong in Jerusalem or in the West Bank, we'll be firing at you. And this is the clear message that is sent by the Palestinian factions to Israel.
Let's talk about the summit that's going to convene in Sharm el-Sheikh. Now, it was historic last time in Jordan to bring both the Palestinians and the Israelis to the table. But after the summit, there was kind of a mixed reviews as to what to discuss and what was agreed upon. The Palestinians say they agreed on something, and then shortly after, the Israelis said, we never agreed on this, we're not going to do this, we're not going to stop our settlement expansion. So is anything really going to come from the summit?
Well, the idea, the basic idea is to create a pilot in the West Bank where the Palestinian Authority would be devoted to fight terrorism. And according to this pilot, if it succeeds, then there's a plan to build up a force of 5,000 fighters that would be, I mean, under the subordinate to the Palestinian Authority, and expand the control of the Palestinian Authority in areas that today they do not control, like Jenin and like Nablus. So this is the main thing. And unlike the last time where we had a minister saying that what was in Jordan will remain in Jordan, this time Israel will be careful not to say things like that, because it's in Israel's interest to just de-escalate the tension in the West Bank, certainly at the beginning of the Ramadan, which is coming at the end of this week.
Let's talk about the rift within the Palestinians themselves. Hamas and other armed Palestinian groups are against the Palestinian Authority meeting with Israeli officials. What kind of rift does that cause within the efforts to de-escalate the violence altogether?
Well, you know, the Hamas is accusing the Palestinian Authority to be an agent of Israel, and the Palestinian Authority is accusing Hamas of being an agent of Iran. So, I mean, the rift between the two is there, and there's no way right now to reconcile between the Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority knows very well that if things go wrong in the West Bank, Hamas will have the upper hand there, and this is the main concern. So right now there's an interest to cooperate with Israel, to coordinate with Israel in order to stop the wave coming from Hamas.
Dr. Jacques Neria, we're going to keep you here and just cross to our reporter. I-24 News' Pia Sekobak live for us outside the IDF's headquarters in Tel Aviv. Pia, good morning. Talk to us about what's expected in this summit. Who are the representatives and what's on the agenda for everyone involved?
Well, Hamda, this is a summit that aims at de-escalating tensions ahead of the Passover and the Ramadan holidays. Now, representatives of the Palestinian Authority, Israel, Jordan, Egypt, and the United States will convene today to negotiate in Egypt and Sharm el-Sheikh. And this really comes after the tensions have been as high as they can only be in Israel and in the West Bank in recent weeks. Now, one of the main talking points for the Palestinian Authority, Hamda, will be the raids, the Israeli raids that have happened on a regular basis in Palestinian cities in the West Bank, first and foremost Jenin and Nablus. Only last Thursday, Hamda, in an Israeli raid in Jenin, 4 Palestinians were killed. One of them is senior Hamas commander, one of them is senior Palestinian Islamic Jihad commander. And Hamda, since the beginning of the year, more than 80 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces or died in clashes with Israeli forces, most of them militants that Israel accuses of having conducted attacks against Israelis or planning to conduct attacks against Israelis. But not only, there are also civilians among them, among those killed. Now, on the Israeli side, there are 14 people, 13 Israelis, 1 Ukrainian national that died in Palestinian attacks. And Israel, in that summit, will try and hold the Palestinian Authority accountable for what is happening in the West Bank, hold accountable also to the framework of the security cooperation, which has proven to be quite fragile in recent times. Now, Israel will be represented by the head of the National Security Council, Tzachi Hanegbi, also by the head of the Shin Bet, Ronen Bar, and by General Ghassan Alian, from the liaison, the military liaison with the Palestinians. Now, from the PA side, there will be the Secretary General of the Executive Committee of the PA, Hussein el-Sheikh, as well as the head of the intelligence establishment, Majid Faraj. Now, Hamda, another crucial point for Israel that Israel might want to discuss is the lone wolf attacks carried out by Palestinians who are not necessarily affiliated with any Palestinian militia. Those attacks, we've seen them in recent months and in recent weeks. Now, of course, they're impossible to predict and very hard to contain, but we've seen Palestinian militias praising and supporting these attacks. Also, Hamas. Now, Hamas, we have seen that they have also very harshly condemned the last Thursday's Israeli raid, and also looking, especially ahead of Ramadan, looking at the Al-Aqsa compound. Only last week they've issued a threat saying that if Israel was to try and alter the very fragile status quo at the Al-Aqsa compound, it was to intervene. Now, we have also seen that a rocket was fired from Gaza yesterday night and fell into open territory. Now, Hamda, Hamas has also condemned the PA's participation in that summit here in Sharm el-Sheikh, same as the Aqaba summit that we have seen last February. Now, Hamda, we have to see in what extent the summit can be successful and what extent the PA and Israel will make concessions. But Hamda, the fact that this summit is taking place right now shows how crucial and how serious the tensions in the region are being taken.
I-24 News' P.S. Stuckelbach live for us in Tel Aviv. Thank you. I want to bring back in Dr. Jacques Nedia, the former deputy head of assessment for Israeli military intelligence. Now, you just heard from our reporter, Pia Steckelbach, that one of the main talking points will be Israeli incursions into places like Nablus and Jenin. When Hussein el-Sheikh and Tzachi Hanegbi met last month in these secret talks, this was one of the main talking points there. Talk to us about if this is something Israel is really going to be able to give up on.
Well, my answer will be a straight no, because Israel will always tackle with ticking bombs, and as long as it will have concrete information, intelligence on any action from somebody, it will act. I mean, we know that all the social medias are monitored today by Israel. We know that Israel is investing a lot of efforts in the intelligence field, and as soon as you have intelligence information coming and pointing at ticking bombs, Israel will act and will not fail in that area. This is definitely, I mean, a rule of policy that will not fail.
Dr. Jacques Nedia, the former deputy head of assessment for Israeli military intelligence, will certainly see what comes from this summit.